John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. We're at the Ernie Ball Music Man plant. And Tomas, where are we?
San Luis Obispo, California.
Very good. Tomas is going to take us through the plant.
Let's do this.
Let's
get some dust on us.
Okay. Okay, so Tomas, where are we? This is kind of where it starts.
This is the mill, the foundry, where the raw lumber comes in. Either you have the raw lumber for the body blank or the raw lumber for the neck blanks. It all comes in this area, and this is where they're doing the sorting as far as getting ready for the, let's say, the raw lumber for the body blanks. They're going to set it through a planer and have it cut so you can see the wood grain on each side of the board to decide if it's going to be an opaque or trans body. So this is kind of like the station where the lumber comes in, and then just start doing the first process of starting to make a body blank.
Do you guys have a difficult time sourcing lumber today?
Not as it was 2 to 3 years ago. It's gotten a lot better. There's always some hiccups at the ports, either in Louisiana or some of the New Jersey, some of the where the wood comes through. But it's been a lot better now. Everybody, it seems like they overbought, and so they have an abundance amount of lumber. So the source is out there. It's just a matter of like, who are you going to choose from?
Sure. Yeah. So you take it in, you plane it, you kind of sort it, decide what goes where.
Yeah, exactly. Say if you're going to take a unit of alder, they're going to stick it through the double plane cutter and just kind of rip on both sides, and they'll flip the board over to see, okay, are we going to make an opaque or we make it trans? And then they start the body process on that. Yeah. So that's the first stage of making a body blank. So as you see, this lumber has been planed on both sides. And what they're doing right now is cutting an actual size of the body blank. Obviously, you can't make one-piece bodies as much as you used to back in the day, so it's either 2 to 3 pieces depending on the lumber length and on the width on it. So that's what they're doing right now, is they're sizing up body blanks or body pieces to start the first process of actually gluing the 2 pieces together and forming its first stage of the body blank.
So I just reviewed your new cutlass with that roasted neck. Just beautiful guitar. So tell me, is this?
Well, this just actually came in last week. It's a fresh pile of roasted base blanks from Canada. We have one of our main roasters up in that area that does a really good job. It gets the color at the right temperature, just where it needs to be.
So what are some of the benefits of the roasted wood?
The stability of the neck is one of the main ones. It's can no longer absorb moisture, so you don't have, and most of our necks are exposed maple, whether we don't seal the neck with a polyurethane. So our necks are mostly exposed by the bare wood. So it has less chance of moisture getting into it, where it'll make the neck dance or twist or so.
Yeah, and they just feel like that, have that kind of vintage.
Yeah, exactly. It has a vintage vibe. It seems like you're aging the wood, say vulcanizing it.
Yeah,
there's different terms for it. We just call it roasted.
Yeah, and they're lighter.
Yes, they are lighter because there's 0 water content in it.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so these are the bodies that have been
glued up, and they're ready to go on to the next step. As you can see right here, we have the ash over there. We have the alder right over there, the African akume or African mahogany, and then we have the new roasted alder, which is over here now, so you can see. Here's all roasted alder.
Oh yeah.
And then your regular alder. You can totally tell the difference.
Yeah.
And you can tell in the weight too.
Oh yeah.
That's better. And with all the different woods that we use, a good example on this is Majesty 8 or any Majesty. You have 4 different types of wood just in this guitar. Wow. You have the Honduran mahogany for the neck. You have the kume, what we call the wings right here. And then you have the Western maple flame top right here. And the ebony, the bone ebony on the fretboard. So that's the wood for John.
Oh, that's great.
We need to add 1 more piece just to complete the cycle.
Yeah, beautiful.
So this area right here is where we keep our maple tops. We call them the 1/4-inch tops. We have the quilts, flames, spalted maple. What you're holding right there is the Buckeye.
Wow.
And then we keep our billets over there for the thicker models. And here we have our quilt that we use for any guitar that has a maple top on it.
Like an Axis?
Axis, correctly, or John Petrucci, Luke. It all depends on the model.
Oh, right.
But this is where they do the selection, and then they'll start book matching them and gluing them up to the next stage.
Cool. Now, okay, so what guitar uses this?
Right now, the Jason Richardson uses the Buckeye Burl.
Oh, cool.
And there'll be future models down the road that we're going to introduce more Buckeye Burl to.
Wow.
A very fascinating piece of
Yeah,
wood.
God, it just looks so crazy beautiful.
With a lot of the hands-on making of the body blanks, we still have a lot of new technology going into actually making the body blank into a guitar. And as you see right here, we have one of our first robots in the mill. The name is Big Bird. As you can see, it has a big, and what it does, it inserts the body blanks into the Haas machine and shuts the doors and runs the programs and starts cutting out the face of the body on one side and the back side of the body on the other one.
Wow.
And this is lights out. So you can load up the trays right here, and then in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning, it has completed bodies from the next day shift.
Oh, wow. So it's running.
It's running to about 3 in the morning.
So what's going on here?
Right now, the Haas is doing our neck grooves, which are different stages it goes through. As you can see, on the Majesty neck groove, it starts in this kind of like boat oar, we call it. And then it goes through different stages through the CNC machine. It comes out starting looking like this, getting ready for the neck carve, and then the glue up on the fretboard. And then the final product out of the CNC machine is your Majesty neck groove. Ready for the next department. Fully carved, all the holes drilled out.
Wow.
And there's many different cutting tools to get it to this form. You have a carousel up there on the Haas full of cutting tools. Each one does a specific job, a different cut.
Wow. Getting from this to this.
It's about 40 minutes.
Wow.
So it takes a lot of machining time to get it to there.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing the body and the neck simultaneously.
And changing bits and...
Changing bits. And each one's a little different. Either have a 6-string, 7-string, or 8-string.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is so labor intensive.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine that this is hiding inside of that.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Surprise. So this is the neck process. After it was on our other robot, Medusa, it actually comes over here. It has the fretboard already on it, the truss rod inserting into it. And so it's on the next stage of getting into this stage. So these machines right here will actually do the back carve on them and start doing the outer reach carve of the headstock and fretboard.
Wow. So what is this medieval looking thing here?
Well, this is the old fret slot cutter. We have it, the fret slots are cut into in the Haas machines now, but before it would come down, the neck would come down, and the saw blades would come and cut the slot for the frets.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very sharp, very dangerous.
Yeah, looks it. It's scary. Okay, so what do we got going on here?
So this is the machine that actually puts the radius on the fingerboard. So what you do is you load the neck up on here, you screw it down, and we have different jigs for different radius. Obviously, this is the 10-inch radius jig. And so when you bring it down, you turn on the sanding belt, 150 grit, and you swing it down. As you put the neck down in that formation, you swing it back and forth like this, and as the sandpaper's taking off the wood and putting the final radius on the fingerboard.
Wow.
So it does 12-inch on this one and 10-inch. So right here we have our fret press, where you can see where you put the frets on there. There's no neck on there now, but when you put the frets on there, the guy smashes it down, moves it, goes on to the next fret, goes on to the next fret, goes on to the next fret, etc. And also it inserts the compensated nut at the top of the fretboard.
Wow. It's amazing. This one room, it goes from wood to basically a guitar.
Finished wood mill party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So is this the last step before it goes into?
No, there's another stage where obviously the fret ends stick out, so they actually have to stick it back on the CNC machine and recut the frets that are sticking out.
Oh, okay.
And they put a slight bevel on them too.
Okay.
Just to start the press, because most of our fret wire is stainless steel, which is really hard. So it takes a lot of labor out on the finished product when you get into the setup department.
Right. Yeah, but once they're in there, those stainless steel frets just last.
They last forever.
Yeah,
They're
forever.
a much tougher product, and they last forever.
Okay, we're in a new location.
Sanding department.
Okay, good.
And this is one of the bodies that came over this morning from the mill. And what they're doing right now is getting it sanded and ready for base coat. And there's a lot of detailed work that goes into this body to make sure that there's no hard lines, any scratches, any dips, any low spots, because once you put the base coat on there, you can never go back.
Right, right.
If it's a trans body, if it's opaque, you can work it back. But since this seems to be a trans body, we're going to go ahead and make sure that everything, all the lines are sanded, and you can see
God,
completely smooth.
feels so
The
good.
transitions
Yeah,
on the radius are dialed in.
yeah.
It's ready to go. So this body is actually ready to go, put on a stick, and then go get base coated with 4 coats of our polyurethane base coat. So this room right here is, I call it the bin room. This is where the bodies and necks, they came from the sanding department, they end up here. And this is actually the first step to actually apply color, either to the neck or to the body, because they are going to eventually go down the road together as a married couple. Here we have all the bodies that are ready to go. And then over there, you can see all the necks are ready to go. So this is the painting room. Booth 1 is strictly clear, and booth 2 over there is trans colors and solid colors. And as you can see right now, we're doing a clear coat session with our painting robot, Picasso. We have names for every robot, and that is Picasso.
Okay, great.
And Picasso only does clear, does 2 sessions. One session in the morning, which is base coat, and then they clean the lines. And the next session is what they painted today will go in there on the clear coat.
Okay, so I see a bunch of sparkles in here right now. How do you get them to pop like that? I mean, there's so much depth.
It's a process of layering clear over and sanding and laying clear over. That's how you get that sparkle.
Okay.
Give that 3-dimensional sparkle finish to it.
It really is. It really is 3D.
So any of our bodies that have a maple top, we usually like to stain them. There are some naturals, but as you see here, we have the Axis purple stain. This is actually ready for top coat. As you can see, it looks a little flat, but then when you apply what it might look like with the clear, you can kind of see that the purple is
like magic, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is waiting for lacquer clear.
Okay, so just to be clear, when it's a clear, when you really want the top to pop like that, you're using a hand rub.
It's hand stained, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, and the stain penetrates the hard and soft areas of the maple top, and that's why you get that 3-dimensional look on it.
So how do you get it to pop like that when it's finished? Do they put
multiple layers of clear?
Oh, okay.
Multiple layers of clear.
Wow, and then
And a lot of sanding. Correct.
Yeah, and that's all just hand labor intensive.
Yes. Yeah, all our stains are hand stained with different colors that we do throughout the factory.
Wow, what's that color called?
Well, this is just a purple, but this is kind of like back in the day, we did a lot of Axis with purple, and we're kind of bringing the traditional purple stain back.
It's cool. What a great color. Wow. So now we're in buffing.
This is the buffing department, and we have a bongo body that's just been top coated. And as you can see, it's got a flat finish to it. So what the buffers do is, again, sand it down all the way to 1200 grit, get it really flat. And then after it's been sanded, it'll go onto our buffing robot.
Okay. And you've got workers also doing it by hand over here?
Yeah, actually, whatever the robot can't do, the buffers have to clean up with the hand buffing.
Oh, okay.
Our buffing robot, which is called Ursula, prettiest name in the business, works at nighttime too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can load it up at night before you leave, and in the morning you have one side of the body buff.
Oh, wow. So okay, so you stack them up in here.
Yeah.
Come in the morning. Oh, how great.
Yeah. So we're in the machine shop where we actually make parts out of raw aluminum, depending on if it's going to be a trim cover. Out of the brass, we make our trim blocks here. As you can see, we have all this different machinery that do different things to make different parts.
Wow. Okay, so like, say you've got an idea, a prototype. You just talk to the guys in the machine shop and say, I need something like this. And
yes, the engineers will go ahead and have a diagram or a print. Say, hey, I'm working on a new project. And then they'll dial it in. And then we have enough. This machinery right here can make prototypes.
So you just whip up anything you want.
Within reason, yes.
Within reason, yeah.
Within reason,
Yeah, that's how cool, man.
Mm-hmm. As you can see, this is the start of a Kaizen trim cover. And then after it gets machined, you have a finished product ready for plating. So we are now in the setup department. As you can see, they are doing the fret dressing for the necks. And as they're doing fret dressing, they are actually doing the bodies that go along with the neck, prepping the bodies as they go along. So all the parts that were from electronics are over in this section, and they're starting to put the sub-assemblies, whether it be the strap button, battery boxes, and eventually the preamps, pickups, pick guards as it goes down, and then they'll meet together in the final assembly department.
Okay, so this is final assembly?
This is final assembly. So this is where the body and neck get married together. So this is where they do the saddle height adjustment, nut cutting, intonation, and then they run through every note on the guitar to make sure there's no dead spots. And
about how long? Okay, so we've seen them go from just a chunk of wood
correct.
this morning to finish. How long does that take for, say, a guitar?
For, let's say, a bolt-on body and neck guitar, you usually allow 1 week in every department. So 1 week in the wood, and sanding, and buffing, and finishing, all that's usually 1 week. So it's about 5 weeks, but they can be made faster if needed.
Yeah, and some are probably a little more
Yes,
labor intensive than
exactly. Like the Majesty, which is the neck through,
Right.
takes a lot longer to make.
Yeah. And after here, pack them up.
Pack them up, boxed up, UPS, and then off to the store or the distribution center.
Then up to all you. So, man, I can't thank you enough. It's just great being here at Ernie Ball Music, man, seeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like magic. Thanks so
great.
much.
Thank you, pal.
Till next time.